gives a fuck. I feel liberated, over medicated. It was overrated. Tell what you want, I can tell by the look on your face. Let me out of here. I've been gone so long. Don't you know that this is the moment you're watching us throw it away? Cody Lorraine, he had a break. He's finding out that nobody gives a
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the AfroMattt Show. This is episode 223, and I know that this episode is late. I was actually on a week-long trip, a full 7 days, and I mean full 7 days in Germany. It was, honestly, I'm recording this right now at 12, and I am cooked. It feels for me like 7 p.m. right now. I'm just now getting back on American schedule, but it is, it was a good trip. I'm sorry for being late on the episode, but this trip was good. It was fun, and I got engaged, which was a big thing. We did the whole Munich Oktoberfest thing. We did the Lederhosen. We did the I think they're called dirtles. And we ate food and lots of pastries, lots of carbs, lots and lots of carbs. They serve carbs as entrees there. It's actually pretty insane. Germany serves carbs as the entree. So you'll have like a giant dough ball in soup with a side of like small sausage. Like the main thing is the giant carb ball. So, it's brutal. I came back, I'm probably actually, I think I lost weight because we did a lot of walking. There was one day I walked 21,000 steps, almost 22,000 steps, which is just insane. But, yeah, it was a great trip. I got engaged, which is, big news in the personal life department. But, and I know before any comments are like, who's the lucky guy? It's not a guy. It's not a dude. Her name is Natasha, and she is not a dude. So everyone, just wanted to get that in there before you start typing that. I just imagine someone slowly hitting the backspace, like, all right, you got it this time. And but it was honestly nice to step away for a while from any news or anything. I was completely. I didn't have Wi-Fi, didn't have internet or anything because of data stuff, so it was nice to just take a step back and just chill. And I think that's how humans are supposed to live, is just like away from social media and just chilling. Okay, that's gonna piss me off, and that's gonna trigger some people, I think. Listening is an MS Teams notification. It might be the worst thing that could ever happen. So I have to mute that tab. Faux show before we start getting some major trauma. Okay. And everyone just check their phones for the notification that just came in. It was a great trip. Munich was good. Getting around was pretty chill. But I come back and I see that everything is like, the government is shut down. I don't know what is going on. I haven't read anything. So I'm just now catching up on, doing the due diligence of checking out what's going on. The government shut down as Senate Democrats hold firm on healthcare demands. So what type of healthcare demands are they making? They adjourned on Wednesday with no resolution on how to reopen the government. Isn't it crazy that you can just shut down the government? How does that make sense? At issue are tax credits that have made health insurance through the Affordable Care Act more affordable for millions of people since the COVID-19 pandemic. The credits are set to expire at the end of the year if Congress doesn't extend them, which would mean more than double what subsidized enrollees currently pay for health insurance premiums. Can we agree that senators will return Friday after a break for the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur? Oh boy, you know what that means, guys. You know what that means. Here it is. So the government is taking a break for Yom Kippur. Let's just play this in the background as we read what's going on here. What a government shutdown means. When a lapse in funding occurs, U.S. law requires federal agencies to cease activity and furlough non-expected employees. Expected employees stay on the job but don't get paid until after the shutdown ends. All right. I just love this. Senators will return Friday after a break for the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur. Does it even make sense that the American government, why is Yom Kippur even anywhere in this article? Why is our American government taking a Jewish holiday? And why did they think it was necessary to mention it in an article by the Associated Press? Are all the senators going on break for Jewish holiday? I know literally right before I left for Germany, there was a thing that I think all the senators showed up to Israel for a Netanyahu circle jerk called 50 States, One Israel, I believe is what it was called. 50 States, One Israel. Let me double check that. Let me fact check that real quick. Yeah, this is certified fact checked. This is the largest ever delegation of U.S. lawmakers attend 50 States, One Israel conference in Jerusalem. Cue the music. Here we go. We got this going now. The largest ever delegation. As Israel faces down isolation around the world, a delegation of U.S. lawmakers representing all 50 states arrive in Jerusalem. Is this real life, people? I need to know. Is this real life? On Monday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu welcomed what his office described as the largest ever bipartisan delegation of American lawmakers to ever visit the Jewish state. The U.S. lawmakers, both Democrats and Republicans, are there for meetings with senior officials and tours across the country, emphasizing their message that support for Israel in the United States is a matter of national consensus. No, I don't think it really is a matter of national consensus. It might be a matter of politician consensus, but if you were to poll every American, if you were to make it mandatory to participate in a poll, I think that the support for Israel might be 10%. 1 in every 10 people might support Israel in what they're doing. You have to have less than a brain. You have to have just some sort just five I don't know what they're called. The little 5 synapses just working overtime. That's in order to, support Israel. Every day that you check your phone, I mean, maybe not anymore because we'll get to it, but I think TikTok is being bought by, I mean, it doesn't matter who they're being bought by, but a background check would go a long way. Yeah, I mean, it's no good. It's no good what's happening out there. And, I mean, I'm really trying to not be like the, the noticing guy. Like, oh, everything loops back to the Jews. Oh, it's the Jews again. Oh, let me guess. 4 letters. Jews. But, because I don't want it to be that. I don't want anything to be like, oh, it's these guys again. Because it sounds bad. It does sound bad. And I did just come back from Germany where saying what I'm saying now would have got me arrested in Germany. And I was messing around while I was in Germany doing like a couple points. Like I would point over there and be like, hey, check that out. And I would point. And it was like a funny bit, but just because it gave me a bit of a rush too, knowing how illegal that is in Germany. It's fun. You're like, whoa, are we gonna catch the subway? And you just hold it for 1 second longer than natural, and then you swap to the point. You do a 4-finger point, and then you swap to the 1 finger, and you're like, what? Look over there, and then you go 1 finger. Just for a split second to where it's like, oh, did he just, was that just a, it's a funny bit. It's a funny bit to do in Germany, specifically in Germany. Also, we landed in Dulles Airport, which is named after the FBI head of FBI, something, Dulles, which when they were announcing it, we were landing in Dallas. I thought it was saying Dallas. I'm like, am I on the wrong plane? But it was Dulles. That airport, Dulles Airport, is a dump. That might be the shittiest airport I've ever been to. It's literally built like an office building with like escalators. Like it was maybe the shittiest airport I've ever been. Low ass ceilings. We went through a portion that was completely, all the ceiling tiles were peeled off, exposing dangling lights. Like the ceiling light tiles that were just like dangling from the ceiling. That airport is a dump, literally a shithole. But that's besides the point. There was this lady who's like, I have a connecting flight. I'm supposed to be going to LA, and she was like talking to this lady while we were waiting at our gate to leave. She was talking to this lady. She's like, I have this flight from here. I'm connected to LA, and then I have a flight to Australia. And I'm like, well, damn, she's got like a 15 hours laid out for her. But she's like, but there's a flight leaving for LA right now. And I was wondering if I could, if I could leave instead of waiting here 2 hours. I'm like, why does she want to shave 1 hour off of her flight? She's still going to have to wait at LA airport. And I realized that probably what's going through her head is she doesn't want to wait at Dulles Airport for 1 hour. She'd rather pay whatever extra to get the next flight out of there. That airport's so bad, people are trying to actively leave. There's like little buggies passing on the cramped hallways, beeping at people. I've never been beeped at an airport from like 2-way traffic of just like disabled people in cars. That airport sucks. But I mean, we're off on a tangent now. Just bad airport talk here. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the noticing issue. And so I think, and there's I call him the Asian professor. I don't know what his name is, but on YouTube he's called Predictive History. Check him out. He's pretty cool. But he says that it is part of the Jewish faith, part of their fulfillment of prophecy is being faced with the entire world hating them, and then the rising up of the new Messiah, or the OG Messiah, will rise up and lead them to war against all other nations, fulfilling their prophecy of whatever. I don't know what they do, what's the end goal, but it's part of. So he was saying that what they're doing is part of a fulfillment of that prophecy. They want everyone to hate them. If they wanted to genocide Gaza, I mean, Netanyahu is on record as saying this himself. They could do it in a weekend. Netanyahu literally said that. We covered that. Netanyahu said if we wanted to genocide, we could do it in a weekend. What they're doing right now is mass sacrifice on television, on TikTok. They want you to see because they want you to notice. They want enemies. They need enemies. Enemies actually galvanize the nation of Israel together stronger. And I mean, it is unfortunate when you do research and you find out something just points back to Israel. It is unfortunate. Just like Maxwell, her dad, womp womp, Robert Maxwell, part of the Mossad, Jewish intel. Larry Silverstein, 9/11, didn't show up to work, cashed out a major terrorist insurance payout on his 2 buildings. Larry Silverstein, womp womp, Jewish. It's unfortunate when you know these things. And I don't get any satisfaction from knowing these. It makes no difference to me if he was Jewish rather than Italian, but it's always Jewish. I don't know why. It's just something that I notice, which is unfortunate. It's not the Irish. Why is it never the Irish? Why is it never the Irish? Oh, God. This video is not making it up. Sorry, guys. If this is... I mean, I might get my channel banned for 2 weeks, so it is what it is. Netanyahu told the delegation of some 250 U.S. state legislators gathered at Foreign Ministry, noting that there is an active effort going on to erode the ties between the two countries. These efforts are orchestrated by the same forces that supported Iran, a.k.a. probably Israel. So he's self-reporting. This is maybe one of the biggest self-reports of all time. He continued, accusing China and Qatar of spearheading attacks on Jewish states, the Jewish state's very legitimacy in the United States and on social media. We can break this siege, and we will, the prime minister vowed. Does Israel have term limits? Because I feel like Netanyahu has been president forever, or prime minister. Let's look this up. Benjamin Netanyahu has served as prime minister of Israel for a total of 15 years. Yeah, that seems like an issue, right? Now let's type in, let's see how long has Putin been president. I don't know if he's prime minister. 4 years. Apparently only 4 years. Wait, what? That can't be right. Well, let's do president. How long? Okay, so they don't have a prime minister; they have a president. So he's been president for 25 years. So that's a long time. But I mean, it's not that far. 15 to 25. I mean, that's not. There are still people. There are like people in high school right now, or that Netanyahu has been prime minister of Israel for their entire life, which probably shouldn't ever work like that. But I think he did something where it's like wartime. He did like a wartime thing, and I don't want to compare him to like anyone bad, but I think that he pulled like maybe a Hitler-esque move. I think also Truman may have done something along those lines, but I mean, I don't know what's going on over there, but Jerusalem's ongoing 7-front war against Iran and the regional proxies is not a battle of just national interest. Those theological thugs in Tehran who amassed the crowds who took American hostages very few days of their tyranny, chanted death to America. They only see Israel as a roadblock, way to subjugate you, subordinate and threaten you, Netanyahu said. So, I mean, so wait, why are we on, why is the government on pause again? Do we ever figure that out? The government is shut down because of Healthcare. Yes. Okay, we did that. Interesting. Now, how? Okay, that's how we got into the Jewish thing, is because they took Yom Kippur off for a. They just needed Yom Kippur off. Things are getting weird. I mean, I will say that things are very strange. And the noticing, even though noticing is pretty much like saying noticing is kind of a dog whistle that can get you in trouble. It's hard not to notice. I think a lot of people are noticing. Might be the great noticing. And I've been noticing. I mean, I noticed a long time ago. I noticed before it was cool, to the detriment of many friend group situations where facts and statistics are your greatest enemy when talking to people of sound mind. When talking to people of sound mind, facts and information are they actually are damaging to relationships, by the way. So don't try to like educate people on anything. That's what I've learned, is if you're ever talking about anything, don't even try to educate people on anything. It has to be something they find out for themselves, and maybe they reach out to you. I mean, it's genuinely how it has to happen. Like if you just get into an argument with someone about 9/11 and their connections to Israel, you have to just step away and put that on the plate and, pull the silver platter, pull the dome off the silver platter, have it just be there, and then just walk away. Like, you can't expect any sort of, like, you can't wait for them to say, no, this isn't what I ordered. I didn't order this conspiracy. I didn't want to hear this. You have to just sit back and let them either eat it or totally disregard it. And I mean, you can't really even ever do anything. You can't make someone interested in learning this. A lot of people actually don't want to know any of this information. I don't want to know any of this information, but it is information worth noting that Larry Silverstein invented terrorism insurance for his Twin Towers, and he didn't show up to work on the day of 9/11. Interesting. I mean, it is something of note. Just something of note. Something else of note, the Star of David, also a symbol of, I believe, Solomon? Something like that. Interesting. There's just weird things. What else is going on? So we got the 50 states, one Israel. Israel is paying influencers $7,000. And this is not, I'm not trying to be some sort of like Israel thing. I'm not making this any sort of thing. Netanyahu referred this week to a community pushing out preferred messaging to U.S. media, and boy, are they making a pricey sum. In a meeting dedicated to harnessing pro-Israel media energy on Friday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu alluded to a cohort of Israeli influencers. We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Influencers. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance. To that community, they are very important. Being paid by Israel to post on social media is also very lucrative. According to previously unreported recent documents, these influencers are likely being paid around $7,000 per post on social media, such as TikTok and Instagram, on the behalf of Israel. Bridges Partners, a firm working for the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs, sent a series of invoices for its influencer campaign to Havas Media Group in Germany, an international media working for Israel. The invoices summed $900,000 starting from June and slated to the end of November for a cohort of 14 to 18 influencers to create content. So, also, where's my invite? Hey, Israel, send me $7,000. I'll change my tune real quick. Kidding. If Israel sent me $7,000, I would be terrified for my life. I'm not going to lie. There might be nothing scarier than getting a $7,000 check from Israel. I'd open that and probably move. I'd tear up the check and then move because they have my address. That's terrifying. Israel sending you a $7,000 check, I would feel like I'm obligated to start making propaganda for Israel. I don't know what they're going to do. The 7,000 check is attached, stapled to a photo of my family and their address. Oh, okay. Israel, heard you loud and clear, Mossad. Loud and clear. Heard. Yeah, if you guys ever see any sort of like pro-Israel fanboy, just know my family or myself or someone I know is in grave danger. Just know. It's actually kind of terrifying. Like, I'm glad that my podcast doesn't get 100,000 views per episode. Imagine the pressure. Like Theo Von right now, I think, is falling apart. He, I think he posted something. Let me see if I have the clip. I think I pulled the clip where he specifically called out. Oh yeah, this is it. Here's the clip.
If you've listened to this show before or seen anything, you know I say stuff.
So Theo Von, just a little bit of background. He is probably the third or definitely top 10 biggest comedy podcasts in the world. And he was one of probably the first podcast host to call out Israel for committing a genocide. So he, he was brave, but he also came out and said that he felt like he had to do that because of his conscience. And he seems like a nice dude. He's kind of, I feel like, torn because he's like almost kind of playing a character that's himself, but he is, it feels like a genuinely good dude. But he, I think, now is scared for his life because of Israel. So, and he recently went to the Qatari Riyadh Comedy Festival. So,
I would never take my own life. I would never take my own life. Okay? You hear that, Israel? I would never take my own life. I'm grateful to God for his grace in my life. I love my siblings. I have so many friends and people that love me and people that I want to see their children grow up. I'm hopeful.
Actually, that may have been a cut because there was a cut here. This may have been a meme.
So many friends. I would never take my own life.
Actually, no, wait. It seems like a pretty solid transition, so maybe just a different camera angle. But, so Theo Von possibly scared for his life via Israel, especially after the Charlie Kirk situation, which... the only updates that we've gotten for the Charlie Kirk assassination are more signs pointing to Mossad intervention. So, and we'll go over it here in a second too. So, Israel paying $7,000 per post. So some people are probably making upwards of $40,000 just posting, like probably $40,000 a month, maybe $20,000 a month, just posting pro-Israel propaganda. This is why you can't trust anything on the internet that you see that's popular. If it has over 1 million views, chances are it is funded or backed by foreign actors, or not even foreign actors, maybe even actors inside of us, the U.S. What I mean is that if something is big, it has been let to be big. It has been allowed to get big. Things like my channel don't get big unless they are allowed to get big. I don't know who's the allower. It's not an algorithm. It's, I mean, it's probably not Israel specifically choosing, but it's like there's this kid who's picking up the dropped mic of Charlie Kirk. His name is Brylan Hollyhand. Before Charlie Kirk, he had about, I think, something like 1,200 followers. Now he is being flown via private jet to the University of, I think, Arkansas, and he's doing live demonstrations Charlie Kirk style. This kid is pro-Israel mega. This kid's maybe the definition of an industry plant. This is what I'm talking about, is you can't trust anything. So the two people that we have currently spearheading the Charlie Kirk thing, like picking up the mic, have so far been, one, Ben Shapiro, fast-talking Jewish man. A liberal owner. He owns the libs by talking super fast and high-pitched. Well, actually, in 1974, you actually have to... Shut up. No one likes you. Go away. Go away. Your time has passed. You were funny for a bit. Go away. Right? And now this Brylan Hollyhand. Let me pull up a picture of this kid. They're making these kids in labs. I 100% believe it. Brylan Hollyhand. Look at this, kids. MAGA's new Charlie Kirk. Excuse me? No. And they all wear their little suits. Also, when did genuine children, this kid's 19, become speakers for the United States? For speakers of the masses. Brylan Hollyhand has presented himself as an heir to the murdered Turning Point USC founder, barnstorming colleges to speak to conservative students on a tour which he began on a private jet. On Thursday, caught his agent asking for thousands of dollars plus expenses to speak at a fake college event. Interesting. I mean, look at this kid.
Here, about 30,000 feet up. We are on the way to Arkansas. So everybody in line at the University of Arkansas to kick off my 10-stop campus tour. We are coming to you right here, right now. Stay in line. We have gotten a third room because we have sold out this campus stop 3 times. But we are coming to you. We will fit you in. Students will get priority, but we will make it happen. I cannot be more excited. We are back. We are on the road. We're coming to you one conversation at a time. If you're not at the University of Arkansas, we're coming to a campus near you soon, so check out my tour dates. We'll see you super soon.
So we're just going to make a sidebar.
Yeah, so, I mean, this kid... And I don't know if, they might legitimately be growing these kids in labs. I mean, he looks just like Harry Sisson. If you've seen this guy was Kamala Cuck for a while. I think he was a white man for Kamala. Look at this kid. They are growing these children. This kid's 23. Singapore. He was born in Singapore? What? He was born in Singapore, but somehow has an Irish and a United States citizenship? Yo, how was this kid born in Singapore? How was he born in Singapore? Dude, there's so much weird shit. Like, this is not normal. Like, kids being born in Singapore and having dual citizenships. I don't know anyone. And I'm as pretty I'm as like probably like low class average dude you can get. Went to a public school, average guy. I know one person who grew up with a dual citizenship, and now they are currently mega rich living in like Dubai. So it's like not normal. That's like not a normal thing. They grew up on I believe an Air Force base, and she is now mega rich, married to like a millionaire. So it's like not a normal thing to be born to like weird dual. So what's the backstory on this kid? What's this kid's name? Brylan Hollyhand. First off, this name sounds fake as hell. Does he have a real Wikipedia page yet? No, he does not. This kid is too new to be... Too new. I mean, he literally just got spawned in. And this might sound far out. And I don't know if it's MK Ultra or something, but they might just have like... You know that scene in the newest like the really shitty Star Wars movies where it had like Rey and Han Solo's kid, Ben Solo? The shitty ones, the sequels. And I think the last one had I really don't know much about I don't remember the storyline, but I think a Palpatine had rows and rows of these tanks growing this like evil dude in it who ended up doing nothing, but it was just rows and rows of, I forgot what his name was, but Snoke, I think, or something. I don't know what his name was, but that I mean, call me a conspiracy theorist, but there might be an underground military base with a wing dedicated to these like kids grown via in vitro fertilization, and then they just like spill out of their tube, and they're like, all right, here's what you do, here's what your name is, you have a tour coming Friday, and go out there, do your thing. Your one job is to be a diehard Kamala supporter. And then they're like, all right, go out there, and they like pat him on the back, and they're like, good luck, kid. Good luck, Harry Sisson. They throw a suit on him. They actually spawn with a suit on. They're in the tank with their suits on, and they just slide out. I don't know. I don't know what's happening, but it's not good. Nothing's good. But, I mean, this also... I do want to make this point. Everything is good. Everything is actually super chill out there. Like... I was in Germany, and shit was chill. Actually, honestly, when I was on the subway in Germany, there's a lot less people that are looking at their phones. I don't know if that means that they're living happier lives, but everyone seemed to be in a better mood. I never felt at risk of being stabbed. Maybe I didn't go to the bad parts, but I never felt like... how Britain kind of looks is propagandized to me. Britain, it feels like there's like stabbings going on all the time. You walk down the streets, it looks like, India or something. I don't know, but that's just that's from the videos I've seen. That's what the propaganda looks like. I was kind of expecting that in Germany, but I think Germany is like, Germany was super clean. I didn't see any I saw 2 homeless people in a week in Munich, which is like their biggest city. So it was super chill. And I did learn this, that Munich is actually its own part of Germany. They're called Bavarians. It's called Bavaria. And it's a little bit like, and this is how it was described to me, kind of how the Vatican is inside of Rome and it's its own little spot. That's how Munich is, or Bavaria is inside of Germany. It's technically Germany, but it's its own thing, and they have their own special culture, and they have an accent when they speak German, which is kind of interesting. And they're very traditional, which might be the reason why Munich was so chill. I don't know if I went to maybe a more liberal and open part of Germany, if it would have been worse, and my threat of stabbing would go up. If you are catching these subtle hints. I don't know. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah. Israel paying $7,000 per post. What else is new? I mean, there's just like a lot of Israel news. It feels like Israel this is like their last chance. Everyone's against them. It seems to be full sprint to the finish for Israel. They are fighting a 7-front war. They're losing support from everyone. They have been labeled as a genocide by the UN. And recently, when the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed the United Nations General Assembly, delegates walked out. Nearly all of them walked out. So he was addressing an empty stadium.
We'll hear an address by His Excellency Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of the State of Israel. I request protocol to escort His Excellency and invite him to address the Assembly.
And then this is when people started walking out. Netanyahu came out. People started clapping. And then people started walking out. We got 2 walkers. We got 3 walkers. We've got 4. And then here's everyone.
Order in the hall.
Walking out. This guy's laughing. This guy's
Please,
smiling.
order in the hall.
Netanyahu's looking at everyone's nameplate so he knows which plane to shoot.
Please, order in the hall.
I don't know what they're clapping for. I don't know if they're clapping for Netanyahu or for the people leaving.
Please, order in the hall.
Please order in the hall. So, UN did vote and find him guilty of a genocide. So I don't know why they invited him to speak in front of them. I mean, you don't ask Hitler to come speak at a college, right? So, I mean, the entire hall is pretty much empty. And now he's starting, and he's like, I'm Netanyahu, and I'm really sad everyone walked out on me.
Please, order in the hall, and please be seated.
I mean, the whole place is empty. There's like 15 people in there. What's the first words he says?
Mr. President, the families of our dear hostages.
the hostages. Instantly to the hostages. Does anyone know if these hostages exist? Are we asking that question? Are the hostages real? Are they even still alive? Like, hostages die. It's been like 3 years. It's sad. It's what happens. Prisoners of war, I mean, die. I mean, it's kind of sad. But also, if you're bombing, like, where could Gaza or Hamas keep a prisoner of war where the prisoner of war would not be at risk of being bombed? That's a serious question, by the way. Is there anywhere Hamas could like hide a prisoner? The prisoners, right? The hostages. Is there anywhere that they could put them that would be safe? I think that, and this is just me saying, everywhere has been so leveled that there's a pretty solid chance that Israel may have accidentally bombed their own hostages, and I think Netanyahu knows that, and he's like, "No, we got to get our hostages back." He has like a deep voice. We have to get our hostages back. Hamas massacred approximately 1,200 people in the initial assault and took more than 250 hostages. Tragic, by the way. I mean, it is tragic, because you are dealing with, this is what makes this really hard, is you are dealing with a terrorist organization, Hamas, but you are also dealing with maybe one of the most evil people of all time in Netanyahu, who is perfectly fine tearing through civilians in order to find his what's amounting to an ethnic cleansing. So I mean, Netanyahu must have been pissed. Honestly, I'm not too sure. He may have been just getting hard as a rock underneath that table. The more people that leave, the more people that left his there, the more that's him fulfilling the prophecy. I imagine there's like a bar, like a progress bar in his prophecy, and it's like the more people that hate him for being Jewish, he's like getting rock hard. It's just filling up, and he's like, we're almost to the point where the entire world hates Israel, and then it's our time to shine. We will have our Messiah rise up, and we will take back everything. Because of course they're God's chosen. You know, they're God's chosen because they were chosen by God. And Abraham's seed may be blessed for all eternity. Something like that. I think that all of Abraham, which technically Abraham was, I read this somewhere or heard this somewhere. Abraham was a Hebrew. And so technically when God was addressing Abraham, blessing his seed, it was the Hebrew, with the Hebrew people. And I don't know what's the difference between Hebrew and Israel, but I think that like Hebrew may include some of the Muslim types, which Netanyahu probably wouldn't like to know are also blessed. And that's of course if you believe any of this blessing and prophecy, which if one person believes it, also if an entire nation believes it, then you have to kind of like take it seriously. But in this case, we have two separate religions that believe it wholeheartedly and will put their lives on the line for it. You got Israel, who believe pretty firmly that they're the chosen people, and then you have the Muslims, who believe that I'm not sure what they believe in, but I think they believe that they have to eradicate people that aren't Muslim, which could have fooled me. I don't know what the difference between that and the Goyim thing, but it is, guys, it is what it is. I'm just here. I'm just a man. I'm just a guy who just hears things and notices things. More news that broke while I was out is the FBI. Giant bombshell. FBI announced that 274 agents were there during January 6th. In plain clothes, the FBI secretly deployed more than 250 plainclothes agents to the U.S. Capitol during January 6, 2021. An operation so disorganized it unleashed searing frustrations among many of the FBI's rank and file that the Bureau had lost its core competence to wokeness and allowed its employees to become pawns in a political war, according to an after-action report kept from the public for more than 4 years. Scores of FBI agents and personnel, many from the Bureau's premier Washington field office, the WFO, sent anonymous complaints to the after-action team detailing how agents were sent into the unsafe scenario without proper safety equipment or the ability to identify themselves readily as armed officers to other police agencies. Imagine a Fed complaining about being a Fed. And this is why, I mean, first off, we all knew that there were Feds in January 6th. That may be the most obvious thing. Escalating it, there's like videos of like Feds pulling off glass and being like, whoa, dude, that like turning to the guy next to them, why are you doing this? Why did you just break that? It's like, dude. There's a video I showed, I think, shortly after January 6th of like a group of people at January 6th chanting, he's a Fed, he's a Fed. So even at January 6th, they were aware that the Feds were there, which raises the question of like, are the Feds even good at their job? Which I don't know if they are. If you can tell a Fed is a Fed. There's literally a video of a guy who's like, we have to go in to the White House. We have to enter. Everyone, let's go in. And he's like slowly like trying to get people to go in. And everyone's like, dude, what are you talking about? What are you even talking about? Why do we have to go in there? We're here outside. That's the whole point. He's like, no, that would be so much cooler if we actually went inside of the building and caught things on fire and like shit on stuff. Guys, imagine how cool it would be if we went into the White House right now, into the Capitol building. What if we forced our way, guys, hear me out. What if we forced our way into a public, into a political office building? Anyone else? Anyone else interested in that? No, dude, you're a Fed. You are a federal agent. And I think that there's a lot of people that are Feds right now that don't know that they're Feds. They are, it's kind of hard to describe what a Fed, what a Fed who doesn't know they're a Fed would do. I kind of think of like a Scanner Darkly, where the guy's split between two lives, and he's actually surveilling himself. A Scanner Darkly by Philip K. Dick, PKD. He in that one, he's surveilling himself. That's his job. So he's a Fed, but his job has been to surveil himself, who's also undercover. This is like the dichotomy, I think, that a lot of people people are Feds right now, and they're spewing Fed talk without even knowing it, which makes them a Fed. Anyone online who is calling for like mega violence or saying things aren't, like, a lot of the people that I think were celebrating Charlie Kirk were Feds without knowing it. Like, that's the kind of thing they're trying to escalate it. They are taking things into their own hands to escalate the situation. They are trying to escalate it. That's what the Feds in January 6th were doing. They were trying to escalate the situation. People celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, flaunting it, gloating on it, and generally being just shitty people. That is a form of federal activity. That is Fed talk. You are trying to instigate and goat people into negative behaviors. You actually want that. There are some people out there who are not federal agents, but would want people to take violent action, which is federal activity. They would give guns, I believe. They dropped off cases of, like, literal pallets of bricks at Black Lives Matter protests. They want things to escalate. Don't escalate. Do not escalate anything. Stay right here. Even keel. Even keel. Do not get escalated. Do not let them trigger you into any sort of, like, just, I mean, I say this from the bottom of my heart. Just watch what, like, just don't do any, like, don't ever, like, there's no reason for anyone ever to be at any sort of, like, protest thing. Like, if you're marching for anything, stop. Reconsider your life choices. There's no cause besides maybe the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files that is worth marching for, peacefully marching for. And I know in the past maybe I've said some things about like pulling people from their houses, but that's like, you know, that's sort of hyperbole, and you know, we're joking, we're jesting here. This is a bit of a, you know, a fun. We try to keep things light and jovial. I would never actually want that because things are pretty nice here. Of course, you can't buy a house, but at least you're living in like a world that's functioning, right? And people aren't being beheaded on the streets. You know, I don't want to live in that world. I want to live in a world where people are. I don't want to live in a world where people are, like carrying around rifles, like at gas stations, being like, "You want my gas? What kind of American are you?" On the airplane, I watched a ton of movies while on the airplane. I watched Civil War. I hadn't ever seen it before. And that movie was really, I mean, it was good, and it was revealing in a way that is pretty interesting. I like the part where he says, "What kind of American are you?" Because he says, "We're American," and then he shoots the guy because he's from Hong Kong, and he says, "What kind of American are you?" I think that's a pretty broad, like pretty powerful statement for where we're at today. Give me a second. I gotta go take a piss. All right, let's continue on with the Charlie Kirk situation. Oh, well, you know, I know this happened pretty recently. I guess right before I left, Jimmy Kimmel got kicked off of, I don't even know, ABC, because he said something that was not really that bad about Charlie Kirk. I mean, it might be that he lost funding because they destroyed USAID, which was at the very beginning of the presidency with Elon Musk, and maybe his funding ran out. A couple theories out there. Maybe he was just bad. I don't know anyone who actually watched any sort of like Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon. Are they all named Jimmy? Is there another Jimmy? Who's that one? James Corden, which is also Jimmy, I believe. Like that his name could be Jimmy Corden. And then Stephen Colbert. I don't know anyone who watches any of these for entertainment. Maybe clips. Like, are they just clip farming? I don't know, but I doubt his views were good. I mean, your views can't be good if you're Jimmy Kimmel. Is Jimmy Kimmel the one who did the... No, that was Stephen Colbert. He did the vaccine thing. Oh, my God. Jimmy Kimmel did the blackface, right? That's what he's known for, is playing a basketball player. Yeah, I think that was good. I heard Jimmy Kimmel's actually a pretty chill dude. Like behind things, he's not like a crazy liberal guy, but behind closed doors, he's normal. Which is the case for a lot of people, by the way. Let's listen to Netanyahu. Totally not. By the way, this is the second time Benjamin Netanyahu has come out to confirm to everyone that he had nothing to do, definitely nothing to do with the Charlie Kirk assassination. By the way, second time, just wanted everyone to know, Benjamin Netanyahu did not have anything to do with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the execution publicly for everyone to witness. Second time, just as a reminder, no one was saying anything besides like Candace Owens publicly, and he just thought it was necessary to come out a second time and say, "Hey guys, these are salacious and not true."
Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda minister, said that the bigger the lie, the faster it will spread. Well, somebody has fabricated a monstrous big lie that
Monstrous
Israel had
big
something
lie.
to do with Charlie Kirk's horrific murder. This is insane. It is false. It is outrageous. Charlie Kirk was a giant, a once-in-a-century talent who defended freedom, defended America, defended our common Judeo-Christian civilization.
Judeo-Christian, also, I think I have a problem with that word because Judeo, I think the Judeo side of the Judeo-Christian, so it doesn't really fit together because you can't really have Christianity, which believes in a God, Son, Jesus, Savior, Christ, right? Christ, Christian. You can't have that and also have Judeo, like a Jewish tradition. I think that's what does Judeo mean? Yeah, Judeo refers to anything relating to Judaism or Jewish culture. So you can't really have a mixing of Judeo and Christian beliefs because they are kind of not like compatible. Because Judaism doesn't believe in a Jesus, Christ. So they are not Christians. And Christianity believes that Jesus is like God. And they believe, Jewish people believe that, yes, Jesus lived, but he was just some guy. And then their Messiah is still yet to come. So the whole mixing of Judeo-Christian, I just don't even understand how that even makes sense. And how those two are like linked in any way. They're two separate things. It's about as far apart, I think, as like Christianity and Muslim and Jewish. I mean, it should be Judeo-Muslim, let's be honest. Although those two talk about oil and vinegar. I mean, that's gonna start. That's not oil and vinegar. That's mixing bleach and ammonia. You're gonna get mustard gas, and that mustard gas is gonna be dropped on a child.
Charlie loved Israel. He loved the Jewish people. He told me so in a letter that he sent me just a few months ago. One of my greatest joys as a Christian, he said, is advocating for Israel.
That's insane. You realize this is this is insane, dude. He said, yo, this guy that we definitely did not kill said that we were actually so cool. He said one of my favorite pastimes was actually spreading Jewish propaganda. I actually love you guys.
Advocating for Israel and forming alliances with Jews to protect Judeo-Christian civilization. He encouraged me to make the case directly to the American people about how vital Israel is to U.S. national security. He told me, the Holy Land is so important to my life, it pains me to see support.
This is insane, dude. I don't even understand how this is happening in real life. I don't understand how this is real life. Netanyahu is online saying, guys, we did not murder him, and actually Charlie Kirk loved me. And he said that I should spread the word. I should actually spread the word that he loved us to everyone.
Support for Israel slipped away. Now, if Charlie disagreed with a policy of mine or a decision here and there, not only did I not mind, I welcomed it. This is the essence of Charlie. This is the essence of a free country. It's exactly what Charlie stood for. And I knew that his suggestions always came from the heart, from his love for Israel and from his love for the Jewish people. A few weeks before his death, I spoke to Charlie. I invited him to visit Israel again.
So I did hear that Charlie Kirk refused his request to come to Israel.
And sadly, that won't happen.
Yeah, sadly that won't happen.
Now some are peddling these disgusting rumors, perhaps out of obsession, perhaps with Qatari funding. What I do know is this: Charlie Kirk was a great man, and a great man deserves honor, not lies. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. May your memory be a blessing.
So, I mean, insane to come out a second time and say, hey guys, by the way, did not have anything to do with that. There's maybe nothing more guilty than saying that you had nothing to do with it before anyone even accuses you. It's like, this actually literally happened to me while I was in Germany. Not this exact situation, guys. I wasn't accused of murder on a mass scale, by the way. But I farted, and it was pretty brutal in an enclosed space. I think it was the car. Maybe it was the bus or something. And I think it was the car. And I instantly said, guys, that wasn't me. And immediately people said, oh, so you farted. That's how that goes. And that is the right response to that, by the way. If someone says, yo, that fart, that's not me, you know instantly that was them. Whoever smelt it, dealt it, by the way. This might be a whoever smelt it, dealt it situation. Netanyahu smelt it, maybe he dealt it. This is a time lapse of minutes after Charlie Kirk's assassination. And you can see, this is the problem I've had ever since this has happened. My problem is, number one, in the background here, this is right after he was killed, there is no blood splatter on the pure white tent behind him. Maybe making some would believe that maybe he wasn't shot from the front. Maybe he was shot from the back or the side. We'll get to that in a second. But also, these guys around him, I do not trust at all. I mean, look, you're going to watch, they're going to grab like an SD card, and they're going to pick something up.
Clean out fireworks.
So this guy, so here's this guy, and he's going to grab the SD card out of this camera that's above. And immediately after, there's been so much footage on this. Immediately afterwards, there was two other dudes that jumped over the counter, like right when he got shot, jumped over the thing, grabbed the SD card immediately. Why are these people trying to remove the evidence is my main concern. Ever since this thing has gone off, I wanted to know where the footage was. They're recording for YouTube. YouTube is high frame rate, high refresh rate, high quality. You can go up to like 8K. I don't know if they recorded 8K, but probably 4K. Their things are good. You don't have to post gore. You don't have to post gore to YouTube, but we want the high def footage right before the blood. We want to see at a high frame rate the direction of a bullet. If you're recording in 120 frames per second and they're shooting supposedly a 30-06, which they weren't, we should be able to determine a trajectory. We have 3 different cameras pointed at this dude. Nothing from anyone. That might be the most damning evidence right there. Why is there no footage from those high-definition cameras that are always rolling because he's filming a YouTube channel? You can cut it up. They just record everything and then choose the best ones. That's what you do. We record everything. They have like probably 15 battery packs, 20 SD cards. It's a professional operation. They got 3 different camera angles. They got one above him. Where's that camera footage? The one directly above him that could probably see into the horizon. Can we see that footage? What about the one pointed to his left? Can we see maybe the angle, the trajectory? Now, was the shot on his neck, was that an exit wound or was that an entrance wound? I'm starting to believe that it was an exit wound. Now, I think we can all agree that it was not a 30-06. 30-06 would have destroyed. The video would be, I mean, talk about traumatizing. The video we saw was traumatizing. If you guys shot with a 30-06, I mean, there would be people vomiting on the street. 30-06 destroys. I mean, you shoot that into ballistics gel and it destroys it. It can go through like 4 plates of porcelain and still go 20 inches into ballistics gel. Like, honestly, probably 24 inches into ballistic gel. It's brutal. That is a brutal caliber. 120 grain, 30-06 would have destroyed every. I mean, the white background would have been completely It would have been gruesome. It would have been more gruesome than what it was. But here's the time lapse still. This is... So we got these guys walking around, pacing around. No clue who these guys are. Obviously some sort of like
Safety team's here. I just heard him
But this guy stands up immediately.
say active shooter Charlie Kirk's been shot.
Gets into the camera right above his head.
Charlie Kirk got hit. Is what the security detail just said.
Removes an SD card. Removes something. And the camera completely takes the camera. The camera's gone. There's this camera here pointed. No footage from that. SD card pocketed probably. Who's this guy? No one knows who this guy is. There he goes.
My son just messaged me and says that Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, it's strange. There are a lot of questions that need answering. This kid, the Lance Twiggs, by the way, fake name. One of the fakest names so his trans girlfriend, boyfriend guy, Lance Twiggs, that apparently got a bunch of text messages that were obviously not written by an elderly man. Yeah, hey, my love, why did you do this? Could you tell me when and where you were when you did it? Oh, you used your... I think I tweeted something about this. It was like my genuine reaction when I use Grandpa's unregistered rifle and hide it at my drop point, but I have to wait for vehicles to leave before I can go in and change my outfit. It is, I mean, the words that they were in, and Candace Owens did a whole breakdown of all the text, and it was interesting, but it's just weird that he's using, like, the squad car. I have to wait till a squad car passes in order to pick up my unregistered rifle. Who texts like this? Lance Twiggs, the roommate of Tyler Robinson, has reportedly left the Utah townhouse, causing mail to pile up outside of... and then Robinson, 22, was arrested and charged with killing the Turning Point founder Charlie Kirk. Twiggs has been facing a lot of criticism, blah, 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 blah. A neighbor speaking to the publication said, "It definitely is a shock what happened here. It's a quiet neighborhood. You know your neighbor is left to your right, but people are pretty isolated. I haven't seen anyone come out, but they are still all these notes on the door, so it looks like nobody has been in there." So now this guy, Lance Twiggs, where is he? Lance Twiggs is gone. This guy maybe never existed, by the way. Lance Twiggs may have been a complete fabrication of a human. This picture kind of looks AI generated. Do we know if Lance Twiggs is real? What is real? Israel? Israel. Israel. Israel? Okay, we're not going to do the whole thing, but it is weird. I mean, Lance Twiggs, do we have an interview with this guy? Do we know who this guy is? Have we seen anything from him? Is he still alive? This is an interesting video here. This is a breakdown of probably one of the most interesting and compelling current conspiracies on, and this is by the Stu Peters Show. It's a compelling evidence to suggest that the mic lapel on Charlie Kirk's chest actually was the device that launched a shell or something into Charlie Kirk's throat, which would be a pretty short distance for a lapel to shoot it, since it's literally right there. And if you look at the footage, there's a guy who touches his jacket and pulls it up. And they're saying that was the release mechanism. So current interesting theory.
Charlie Kirk's Israeli security detail killed Charlie Kirk, and Charlie Kirk's assassin is caught on tape. Blake Bednar has brought us this video. We'll break it down. Take a look at this. Here it is from the wide angle. Watch Charlie Kirk's right side of his t-shirt. Watch the lavalier lapel mic. Do you see it explode? Let's bring it in just a little bit closer. Watch this. Put it in a freeze frame. That is the explosion from Charlie Kirk's lavalier lapel mic. Want to see it again? Bring it in closer. Remember when we told you that that was absolutely an exit wound? Yeah, it is. Check the trajectory of the round that was deployed from that lavalier lapel mic. That went directly from Charlie Kirk's lapel. That went directly from underneath Charlie Kirk's white t-shirt up through his neck and created the exit wound that we told you was an...
Also, do we have an autopsy on this? Where's the autopsy? Did they bury? I think they already buried this guy. They already buried Charlie Kirk, and they've already paved over the crime scene. Like they paved over and like they were like doing construction on the crime scene. What is going on here? It's like this is like what's that? There was a elementary school, Sandy Hook. I think they demolished and like rebuilt a school on top of that.
Exit wound immediately when we saw that exit wound. First we had exploding pagers. Now we have exploding mics. Do you remember?
Yeah, it's not that hard. It's not that big of a stretch to say that a pager that explodes in people's hands, I feel like you could make that for a lavalier mic. I mean, it's not a big stretch. I mean, Israel is pretty proud of the fact that they use pagers to like blow up a lot of people's heads and hands. Like that's something that they're kind of proud of. They go around, they're like, look at this. They gave Trump a golden pager. Like it's something that they're proud about.
Remember the vector analysis from John Bray? That proves that all of the activity came from the mic that Charlie Kirk was wearing. Remember the palm gun guy in the brown shirt, that shadowy looking guy with the sunglasses? Yeah, he pushes the detonator. Clear as day.
Counting gang violence. Great.
Yeah, this is weird because it's like it is crazy that it lines up perfectly right as he pulls his sweater. My dad sent me this video. Right as he pulls it.
That's the assassin. That's the guy that pushes the detonator, which perfectly aligns with the explosion that pushes that projectile through Charlie's right side of his neck and out the left side, creating the exit wound.
And here we go. We have the two guys jumping over the thing.
That might just look like the chaos that you would expect after someone was publicly executed in broad daylight in front of 3,000 people. But in no way did that trigger man, that assassin in the brown shirt with the sunglasses, act alone. We have video now from Destiny that shows the handoff of this remote detonator.
Grabs something, probably the lavalier. Puts it in his pocket, back pocket. Here, you see this guy. Back pocket. Here's the brown shirt man coming back. Guy in brown appears to give him the remote detonator, and then he runs away with it. A handoff of some sort. He jumped on the table, grabbed something, went to the other guy, grabbed something else, and then they ran out in a hurry.
Cullen on the program last week, and he made this guy, brown shirt guy, he's the assassin.
Oh, way. If you want security, the Israelis know what they're doing.
That's Charlie Kirk right there at the end. If you want security, the Israelis know what they're doing. Well, and boy, do they ever. Let's just go on to, well, this is new news here. This is kind of Jeffrey Epstein adjacent. New York financier Howard Rubin, that's not Jeffrey Epstein, this is Howard Rubin, and ex-assistant charged with running a violent sex trafficking ring. A newly unsealed federal indictment charged Rubin and Jennifer Powers with sex trafficking and transporting women with interstate commerce for sex acts. What is it? Now, I don't want to do it, but I'm just going to copy and paste Howard Rubin, and we're just going to double check and see what his Wikipedia has to come up. I mean, I doubt anything bad, right? Nothing bad will happen. Let's see. Okay, I doubt. Okay, I don't think that there's any sort of like early life. Grew up in Massachusetts. Okay. With the last name of Rubin, it seems. I mean, seems like we're in the clear here. He was a bond trader at Solomon Brothers. Rubin was indicted on federal charges of sex trafficking, interstate transportation, bank fraud, stemming from allegations of coercing dozens of women into commercial sex acts for over a decade. Was born to Leon Rubin and Laura Solomon Rubin. Okay, well, there's no real evidence here to suggest that there's an issue, but something definitely smells fishy here. But I mean, once again, just another shitty person with money, just doing evil shit. Oh man, I mean, it's just there are sick people out there, very sick and ill people. Let's go on to TikTok time.
Very good borders. We didn't have people coming in.
Here's Donald Trump talking. I don't know when. This was from 9/30/25. I don't know why he felt the need to mention central casting. But if you don't know what central casting is, they are known for body doubles, stunt doubles, stuff like that. They are... people say that they are like the go-to company if you're looking for a crisis actor or something like that. Body doubles, part of major conspiracies, and it's just weird to hear Donald Trump mention them.
In from jails and prisons and everything like took place over the last 4 years. They'll never forget what happened to this country over the last 4 years with the incompetence. There could be no higher honor than to serve as your commander-in-chief. It is a great honor. I look at you, you're just incredible people. Central casting, I might add.
What? Why are you adding central casting?
Central casting, I might add. To each and every one of you, I thank you for your unwavering devotion to the armed forces and to the country.
I don't know. Maybe that's AI. I don't know. I doubt it, but let's watch this one. What is this?
I mean,
Oh, this is an interesting one. This is, if you know this guy is the guy from The Office, and he's in a TV show called Jack Ryan. Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, which is pretty much like I think American propaganda, something like that, to maybe boost people enrolling in the military, but it's just weird to hear an actor shout out to the FBI.
Totally nerded out when we got to the CIA. I owe them everything.
It's just crazy to hear someone say, I owe everything to the CIA.
I really do. The CIA is something that we should all not only cherish, but be saying thank you every single day.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Ashton Kutcher just sending out a morning shout out to the men and women of the intelligence community to keep us safe and protect our country. Ashton Kutcher, very suspect. He visited visited CIA headquarters to get a better understanding of how they would like their characters to be. Amazon, CIA. This is just making connections at this point. This is, I mean, just going into control of the media. So we're back to square one here. All right, I'm gonna play one more video. This is so Nepal has recently started a full-scale revolution. Now, I said before, you know, I don't support violence, anything like that. But Nepal has overthrown, I believe, their government. Someone had to be evacuated by helicopter to escape. The students completely overran. I believe they were trying to ban social media, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back for the students to essentially there was like videos of people like inside their building like celebrating and stuff, and they lit the building on fire. It's not good, but this kid I think might grow up to be their strong charismatic leader.
Today I stand here with the dream of building a new Nepal, with a fire of hope and passion burning within me. But my heart is heavy because this dream seems
I offered them peace 5 times.
To be slipping away.
That's a joke, by the way. That's not a joke. That's not a good thing. That's not something that you should even know. You don't even, if you even get that meme. I mean, it's kind of niche, so some people might not get that joke.
Wait, rise and shines, futures of this upcoming imperial empire. I, Avishkar Raut, the head boy of this everlasting imperial institute, Holy Bell English Secondary School, welcomes you with open arms to our 24th annual program. I put myself before you this moment to shed light within your consciousness by piercing the dark nimbus that circles above you. I am present here today to immortalize a monumental change in the course of history. Nepal, our mother, this country gave us birth, nurtured us. But what did it ask in return? Just our honesty, our hard work, our contribution.
So this kid's going places. I don't know what his ideas are, but he's going places. All right, now let's watch this last guy have some chicken. He's grabbing something out of the furnace. This guy looks like he lives in like a hobbit hole.
Coffee and toast.
I don't know what's going on. Like, he's grabbing bread out of like a furnace with like a high-pitched screeching in the background.
I'm too cheap to put the gas on.
He's got a full-on furnace, and he's like grabbing shit out of the furnace, boiling coals.
I'm too cheap to put the gas on.
I'm too cheap to put on the gas. He's a real-life goblin. He's a real-life goblin.
Coffee. They taste better on the
they taste better on the stove.
fire.
Open fire.
And the coffee will stay hot. Good God.
I don't know. Forgot I even had that clip, but that is a good one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please share with your friend. Share with your friends. I don't mean to put only one friend on you, but yeah. Again, sorry that this is a late episode, and we are back on schedule. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Goodbye. Let's play this out with a classic.
Yo, listen up, here's the story about a little guy that lives in a blue world. And all day and all night and everything he sees is just blue. Like him, inside and outside. Blew his house with a blue little window and a blue Corvette. And everything is blue for him and himself and everybody around. Cause he ain't got nobody to listen. I'm blue, I've been